Welcome to the Cherry Stories channel. The first volume of cool stories from Reddit is here. Here we go. What started off as a small lie but snowballed into this is my life now? First story. When I first got married back in 2005, my wife asked me if I like creamy peanut butter. I knew she did, so I told her, yeah, that's great. She buys creamy peanut butter, I buy creamy peanut butter. About 3 years ago, she's doing some experiment or something with our daughter, and she needed chunky peanut butter. I saw it in the pantry and exclaimed, "Oh, chunky peanut butter! I love this stuff." To which she responds, "You do? I've been buying creamy peanut butter all these years because you told me that was your favorite." So, long story short, we both prefer chunky peanut butter by a large margin, but had been buying the creamy one for 10 years because we both thought it was what the other preferred. Reading that back, we're pretty boring people. Yep. That's actually pretty sweet. Such a great example of compromise between a couple where nobody got hurt. Second story. I was a new graduate student, freshly arrived in the US and very poor, and I couldn't afford a laptop. So the only way I could communicate with my family was to hit up the library and use a public computer to email with them. Eventually, my girlfriend back home wanted to Skype, and I wanted a little privacy for this, if you know what I mean. So I set about finding the most private computer available to me in the library. On a recon mission the day before the Skype, I located a single computer in a conference room, and the next morning got up at 7 a.m. to account for the time difference and walked into the conference room with my eyes totally focused on the computer. I'd actually walked most of the way in before I realized there was a group of people around the conference table having a ridiculously early morning meeting. The guy at the head of the table, apparently thinking I'd showed up for the meeting and that I was heading towards him, handed me a paper that said agenda and said he was so glad a graduate student had shown up, then launched into the most incomprehensible talk about electrodes and chemistry. Meanwhile, I know my girlfriend is sitting halfway around the world thinking we're going to have a sexy time on Skype, and I'm blowing her off, and I'm feeling desperate. But everything I knew about US culture was only based on movies, so I have no idea if I can just apologize and leave or what. I miserably sat down for the incomprehensible meeting, rehearsing all the excuses I can give my girlfriend when we talk later. I was barely paying attention. Eventually, questions were directed at me. I confess that I'm a new grad student and I don't know much about the equipment they're talking about. Everyone excitedly tells me all about it, and I still don't totally understand what they mean, except I'm starting to get that they're going on a research expedition to an insanely exciting, inaccessible, and dangerous place, and they're building a piece of equipment to bring with them. By the end of the meeting, I'm a part of the project. 6 months later, I am in an insanely exciting, inaccessible, and dangerous place helping to operate this equipment. I appear briefly in the background of a Discovery Channel documentary. Only black guy within the hundreds of miles, so easy to spot. I happily transfer to this other lab and this other field from my fully paid and stipended PhD. I'm considered a real go-getter, mainly based on my arrival at an early morning meeting no one else wanted to attend. New major, new field, new life, because I was too awkward to admit I had just been in a room to sexy Skype with my girlfriend. Edit 1. Broke up with a girlfriend, but we're still friends. Have a new girlfriend now, and have never told her this story for obvious reasons. Also, my advisor doesn't know. He was the enthusiastic guy at the head of the table, and he loves his work so much that he never questioned that a business major would show up to hear all about it and get converted to love it as much as he does. He's still exactly that oblivious and enthusiastic. He will probably tell my conversation story at my upcoming defense. Edit 2. Thank you for my first gold ever, kind stranger, and for all the kind comments. I know how lucky I have been. I really do. If you like our Reddit stories, please give us the thumbs up and subscribe. Third story. Wasn't a drinker in high school, so to shut down peer pressure, I told them I was born with half a liver and drinking anything could make me very sick or kill me. The lie just became natural and followed me to college. Was out with some friends playing pool and decided to have a beer. When I came back, a buddy slapped it out of my hand thinking I was suicidal. Then the explanations began. Shadowstone 42. Should have told them your liver has grown back, so you're fine now. Livers do actually regenerate. They're the only organ that does. Dexterous Knight. Why are they the only ones that regenerate anyway? I mean, if we have the technology, why don't our bodies just use it for everything? Has anything like this ever happened to you? Share your stories in the comments